Welcome to Get Savvy, the podcast for people who want to claim back their time through the power of delegation, productivity, and automation. Welcome back. We are here for our first episode of season 3, and today we are diving into a topic that comes up a lot when people talk about AI, and that's the idea that AI is making us dumb or lazy.
Yeah, I think there's a very real risk, right, that this could actually be happening. So we want to talk in this episode about the things you need to think about so that you don't end up being in that kind of lazy and dumb category because you've relied so much on AI to do the thinking for you.
Mm-hmm. So today we're going to explore the fear, why people feel this way, and whether AI is actually harming our intelligence, or is it just about how we change things? So to start with, we're going to go with, where does this idea come from? The idea that technology makes us lazy or dumb, because it isn't a new idea. Think about the calculator. People used to say that it would stop kids from learning maths properly. And then the same thing with spellcheck. When that came along, people said no one would be able to spell after that anymore. And I mean, that's not the case for a lot of people. I'm sure there are some that heavily rely on those things. But now we're here again with AI, and those same concerns are popping up.
Yeah, because it's like, is AI really making us less capable, or is it like the calculator and the spell check is just changing the way that we solve the problem? So with the calculator, we still need to know what inputs to put in there, what the formula is, how we actually come to the answer that we need, and whether it's the right answer or not. The spell check, like, you still need to put in something close to the spelling, and then in the drop down, you're actually choosing which of the words it is that you actually need. So you still need to know which one it is. So it's like a tool to help, but it's not replacing all of the thinking. And I think that's a really key way to start to think about it.
Yeah. So one of our team members had a conversation with a couple of people the other day. One was an early childhood teacher that told our team member that she knows that she could use AI to generate stories and ideas to entertain her kids, but she refuses because to her that would be cheating. She also had another conversation with someone else who worked in marketing and had for years, and she told her that back in the day, she would get a physical folder of market data delivered to her every Friday. She'd go through it manually, and because of that, she felt like she understood the data deeply. So now she sees younger marketers relying on digital reporting and AI-generated insights, and so she believes that they're not looking any deeper than those surface-level answers that they've got. So in her view, AI is making people take things at that face value and not have any critical thinking behind that. So her argument was basically that she gets that AI is meant to free up your time, but the quality of the work is nowhere near as good.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's go back to the teacher first, then we'll talk about the marketing. So the early childhood teacher, she knows what a good story would be, and she knows what things would actually entertain children. So if she used AI to generate some stories and some ideas, she would be able to pick out of those stories and ideas that it came up with as to which ones are actually going to be really good and actually entertain the children or be well received by the children. So she would still need to use her knowledge of how kids like to learn and what entertains kids, and use that knowledge to actually make sure that what she was getting from AI, maybe with some critiques and adding in her own creativity and making some edits, that like she would know that that is actually going to do the job that it needs to do. So she's still using her critical thinking. I think the AI is actually doing is kind of speeding up that time and offering a bunch of ideas so that then the critical thinking can be applied, rather than having to come up with all those ideas themselves. You're still needing to put in the prompt, right? A really good prompt to get a really good output. So I don't think that it's cheating at all. It's actually just being really smart in how you use it to help you.
Mm. And the same thing with the marketing example as well. We've talked before on previous episodes about AI having the ability to analyze data way quicker and also in ways that humans can't. And it can spot patterns in seconds and predict trends and figure out what's not right about that data. But it also, like we've talked about before, doesn't mean that you should just rely on that. So if people are putting in, it's that whole thing, right? Gonna swear, but shit in, shit out. So if you're putting in a crap prompt, or yeah, you don't know what you're asking for in the beginning, then you are going to get inaccurate data or the wrong answer back out. And so as long as you know what you're looking for with that result that's coming back to you as well, and you are reviewing it, because we always say this, you still need to review, then if you can use it with this marketing example, you can put in, ask it what you're actually looking for, and then actually review it when it comes back out. It's making that whole process just faster, and you can dive deep into those things that you're wanting to really look into, highlight, but in a shorter time frame.
Yes, I think that's the thing, right? Shorter time frame. You still need the knowledge of what you're actually analyzing and what things you are looking for. It's just, why would you do it really manually when you could speed up that kind of middle part? You're doing the great prompt at the start, you're speeding up the middle part, and then you're allowing yourself even more time to actually dig deeper and analyze it critically with the knowledge that you have and the like skills that you've built up. It's just the middle part gets faster.
Yeah.
So that's how we want you to think about it. Like, don't blindly trust AI. The best approach is to like do the upfront work to get that really good prompt, get it to do the 80% of the work, speed that up, and then you are critically thinking and doing that analysis and thinking about what the results are showing you.
Yeah. So in the same amount of time, you can actually dig deeper and potentially get more insights out of using AI if you're using it well. And AI should be a tool, not a replacement. So it's like we're talking about how you actually use it. Because if we're being honest, there is a risk, like Jo said at the start, of over reliance on AI. And if people do stop fact checking and just accept that any answer that they get out of something like ChatGPT is perfect, then that does become a problem. But that's also not AI's fault. That's a flaw in how it's being used. So exactly like if you're using GPS, it can give you the fastest route, or so it says, but if you blindly follow it without thinking, and maybe you know the area, or it tells you to turn down a sketchy dirt road, and you end up in the middle of nowhere, then yeah, you have not used your own critical thinking skills at some point in that process. So it's the exact same thing with AI.
Yeah. We don't want you to blindly use AI because, like, I see this all the time online. I can instantly see when someone has blindly used AI to write their caption for their post. And it is so crap that they have not understood how to create a good prompt. They've not understood what their brand voice is. They've not trained the AI. They've just blindly said, can you write me a caption about this topic? Boom. Okay, copy, paste, send. Like, that is not how you use AI. If you are not training your AI and giving it a whole bunch of context, then you're just blindly using it. And yes, you are going to end up being dumber using AI than if you actually learned how to use it properly and use it as a tool that helps you rather than a replacement for any of your thinking.
Yeah, and you can spot it a mile away when people do that, especially on LinkedIn if people use AI to write their comments. So you can tell from the words that they use. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell if people reviewed it properly and make those little tweaks.
Yeah,
to make
they
it more
use
human.
there's plenty of people using AI. I use AI, but you wouldn't know that I was using AI for my captions because it actually sounds really good. It sounds like me, and I've trained it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of people using AI that you would never know.
No. So to make sure that you are using AI in a way that's making you smarter, we're going to go through some recommendations that we have, those little steps that you can take. So, our first one is, like we've been talking about, using it for efficiency, not to actually replace your thinking. So, it should speed up the workflow, the process, not replace your ability to problem solve. So, you still need to be doing that reviewing. You still need to know what you're looking out for, what your outcome needs to be, or whatever it's spitting back out to you. You still need to be checking it. If there is still some thinking that needs to be involved, you still need to be doing that part.
Yep. The second thing that we recommend to make sure that it's making you smarter, not dumber, is that you always question whatever the AI has generated for you. So just because it gives you an answer or spits out some kind of output doesn't mean that it's the right one. Always double check it for accuracy, go back and have a look and see whatever it's like grabbed as like source data, because remember, those AI hallucinations are real. So make sure you double check, you add context, you refine it, like you're doing the 20% of the work, letting it to do the 80% of the grunt work.
And our third tip is staying engaged in the process. So it doesn't matter what type of task it is, whether it's analyzing data for you or creating that content or those captions or comments on LinkedIn, or if it's helping you even make a decision, you should still be the one in control. So you still need to go through that data. You still need to review that caption, make sure it does sound like you, make sure it sounds like a human, and tweak it and do that 20% that Jo was talking about, because AI is there to support you, not take over. So it's a tool. Just remembering that it's a tool. It's supporting you. It's not taking the whole task or taking your whole job over. It is helping you do it better, more efficiently.
Yeah. So Teesha, is AI making us dumb?
No, AI is not making us dumb, but if you do use it blindly, then yeah, you are definitely at risk of not thinking as deeply, and that's where the danger is if you are relying on it too heavily. So if you can take those 3 steps that we just mentioned, then you shouldn't be in any danger.
Yeah, because AI, it is an incredibly powerful tool. But it's just like any like tool that you use in your business or app or website. It's only as good as the person using it. Like, still have to set it up. You still have to make sure that it's actually going to do the thing that you want to do. So make sure that you are not blindly using AI and just thinking it can replace you.
So thank you very much for listening to our first episode back in 2025. And if you want a virtual assistant to get tasks off your to-do list, and so you actually have time for the stuff that matters, then you can book in a call with us. We will drop the link down below, whatever you're listening to this episode on. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Get Savvy podcast.